Hey everybody! Today we're going to be talking about a word that means what this text is about. No, it's not plot. Plot is not what the story is about. Plot is about what happens in the story. And it's not character. Characters are the people in the story who affect and are affected by the plot. I know that we often use the protagonist as the title for the story, but believe it or not, Superman and Lois isn't about Superman and Lois, and The Mandalorian isn't about The Mandalorian. And no, it's not about Baby Yoda either. Also, yes, I know his name is technically Grogu, but come on, he's Baby Yoda. And this video isn't even about that particular tangent anyway, so let's move on. The thing is, even after we take those particular terms off the table, we still have a lot of words that kinda sorta mean what it's about, and to complicate things further, they mean that in different ways. English is complicated. I'm sorry, but only a little because that's why I have a job, so in a way, I'm also kind of glad. The overarching term for all of these is the main idea. The main idea controls or guides a creative work. And so all the other words listed in this video title, topic, thesis, and claim, all of those sort of fit under that umbrella. So the most basic of these terms is topic. Topic is where a creator starts with to build more complex elements like a thesis, theme, or claim. We'll get to those in a little bit. The topic is the base concept or idea. A lengthy work like a novel, movie, or television series can have more than one topic. However, a well-crafted one will often have a single idea that underpins everything else to create cohesion and consistency. Not always, but often. The Mandalorian is about duty. Everything else comes from that. Din Djarin has a duty to care for Baby Yoda, even though that wasn't really something that had been part of his life goals. Superman and Lois is about conflicting responsibilities. Superman is Superman! So when somebody's trying to blow up nuclear plants, well, he's Superman. But he's not only Superman, he's also a husband and father, and he has responsibilities to his wife and his family. And sometimes he has to choose between them. And that creates the conflict that drives most of the plot forward. So those are the basic ideas for those shows. Those are the topics. However, what the show then goes on to say about those topics, based on how they're illustrated by the story and the characters' actions, those are themes. A theme of The Mandalorian is that fulfilling your duty isn't always easy, but it's worth it anyway. If you follow the series far enough, you also get the theme that fulfilling your duty, or following your destiny, you can also look at it from that perspective. It can change you. A theme of Superman and Lois is that the way we prioritize our responsibilities is what defines who we are as people. The key here is that the theme is more than an idea or concept. It's a message. It's what the creator or creators are saying about that idea. You can think of it this way. Theme is the message. This applies to other types of literature too. Take a look at this poem. I am part of a lost generation, and I refuse to believe that I can change the world. I realize this may be a shock, but happiness comes from within is a lie, and money will make me happy. So in 30 years, I will tell my children they are not the most important thing in my life. My employer will know that I have my priorities straight because work is more important than family. I tell you this, once upon a time, families stayed together, but this will not be true in my era. This is a quick fix society. Experts tell me, 30 years from now, I will be celebrating the 10th anniversary of my divorce. I do not concede that I will live in a country of my own making. In the future, environmental destruction will be the norm. No longer can it be said that my peers and I care about this earth. It will be evident that my generation is apathetic and lethargic. It is foolish to presume that there is hope. And all of this will come true unless we choose to reverse it. Now, a poem often explores the topic through examples and imagery. Not all poems state their theme, their message. But typically, though not always, the poet gets to that message at the end. So if we look at this poem, we might guess that the topic is the lost generation, or perhaps a lost generation. And as we read through the poem, it's got a very negative, cynical tone with the examples and details and description. And the use of first person makes it clear that the poet is talking about his own generation. There's a sense of responsibility or of guilt for all the trauma he's talking about. So then we get to the end, and that last line is absolutely key, particularly the very end, unless we choose to reverse it. And that's exactly what the poet wants the audience to do, in a broader sense, of course, but also literally. Listen again. There is hope. It is foolish to presume that my generation is apathetic and lethargic. It will be evident that my peers and I care about this earth. No longer can it be said that environmental destruction will be the norm. In the future, I will live in a country of my own making. I do not concede that 30 years from now, I will be celebrating the 10th anniversary of my divorce. Experts tell me this is a quick fix society, but this will not be true in my era. Families stayed together once upon a time. I tell you this, family is more important than work. I have my priorities straight because my employer will know that they are not the most important thing in my life. So, in 30 years, I will tell my children, money will make me happy is a lie, and happiness comes from within. I realize this may be a shock, but I can change the world, and I refuse to believe that I am part of a lost generation. So, read this way, the poem becomes much more hopeful. But at the same time, it still carries that sense of responsibility. It's only optimistic if we do something about the problems that we see when we first look around us. Therefore, the topic may be a lost generation, but the message about that topic might be phrased as, even a lost generation can create positive change. A thesis is very much like a theme. It's what the author is saying about the topic. In fact, the terms are so similar that most of the difference is in the context. We use theme to refer to the main idea of a literary work, like a movie or a poem or a novel, while we use thesis to refer to the main idea of a work of nonfiction, like an essay or an article or a research study. Another difference is that it's much more common for a thesis to be made very clear by the creator, usually right off in the introduction, instead of just at the end. Many essay assignments require a direct thesis statement, which is exactly what it sounds like. A clear, direct, one-sentence statement of the main idea, the message about the topic. It's not quite as prevalent in non-academic work, like an article or a newspaper column or a blog post, but it still happens a lot. Finally, a claim is specifically the main idea for an argument. It's a main idea that is controversial enough that the creator is framing the work a little defensively. The creator anticipates that the audience isn't just going to accept that message and knows that it needs to be proven, not just explored. The work doesn't begin from a neutral position. The tone of the piece is likely to be forceful, maybe even adversarial. The creator is actively trying to change the perspective of the audience. In the description to this video, I've included a link to one of my favorite essays, Be Cool to the Pizza Dude. It's part of the This I Believe series from NPR. At the link, you can read or listen to the essay, and I'd encourage you to reflect on what you think the topic and the main idea are. What's the subject of the piece? What's the author's message about that subject? Can you phrase it as a single statement? I'll give you a hint. She's not just talking about the pizza dude. As a writer, it's important to consider your purpose. Why are you writing this? What effect do you want it to have? And who do you want to affect? Who is your intended audience? The answer to these questions will, or at least they should, shape the way that you craft your main idea, and by extension, the way you explore and support that message. If you have examples of works that you think do a really good job of supporting their thesis, claim, or theme, I'd love to hear about them in the comments. Bye for now, everybody.